You're listening to Exchanges with Rachel. Real stories, real people, and a world of perspective.
Today we're continuing with Johannes's story. This is part 2.
Okay, so so we were talking about when you first got here, and okay, so and how crazy just joining into the family was. Um, so when you met us for the first time, and you kind of were paying attention, and that's actually really good for people to know coming from another country, like when an American goes to another country too, or just I think anybody is you become kind of hypersensitive to the body language, right? I think is kind of what you were talking
Mm.
about, like seeing how we interacted with each other, seeing how we interacted with you. Um, I mean, would you say that's right? Like that's kind of a fair assessment is that you
Yes.
really become aware of what people are doing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. More than in your normal life, I guess.
Right.
Because I mean, it's also that from that moment on, you're alone. So there's nobody from the exchange agency who can help you. I mean, of course, there are people who can help you, but not
Right. Like,
right at the
but you're
moment.
in this by yourself.
Yeah,
Right.
you're
Right.
right.
There. Right.
And so you, I guess it's automatic, automatical, whatever,
Dramatic. Yeah.
that you're really aware of how people behave. I guess it's
Right.
for self not defense but
Like self-awareness,
self
like
awareness. Yeah,
I mean it's you're not putting
keeping
up
yourself safe.
boundaries. Yeah,
Yeah,
like a safe feeling kind of like to make sure that you
yeah,
I think what happens, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, if this helps you kind of describe it, is
mm,
you're kind of like in this feeling of number one, you don't want to make a mistake and offend anyone,
right,
right? Number
right.
two, you don't want to encourage the wrong response, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we automatically, I think, as human beings, don't want to embarrass ourselves.
right.
So, so that's normal. But so
Mhm.
what you're saying, from what I can tell, is more like you're kind of trying to figure out what your boundaries are, oh,
Right,
right? Like what
right.
how we
But
set our boundaries in the new
right,
this
that's also the
social.
important thing to
Mhm.
see how where other people's boundaries are, and where the people who you're gonna live with for a year, where they draw their line of like their
Yes,
self, yeah, of their
our personal boundaries.
I'm sorry, the personal boundaries,
Yes,
basically.
yes. No, you're good. You're good. Your English is still fine. Stop.
Yeah. I really noticed that it's deteriorating a
Yeah,
lot.
well,
Mhm.
I mean, my German has never been good, so it's okay. You're doing just fine. Yeah, I've tried doing Dutch too, and oh
Oh,
wow,
really?
that
It's just
yeah,
German, drunk German, basically.
it's yeah, it's interesting. It's almost
Yeah.
like a funky English and German. Like
Yeah, it's
yeah,
kind of a mixture of both. Yeah, both.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I did Danish. I love Danish,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
it's hard,
Yeah.
being an English
Yeah.
speaker. So yeah. Anyway, anyway, so yeah,
I'm
so
currently learning Italian.
ooh,
If that.
nice.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm actually currently doing Spanish
Oh,
because
okay.
I am an adult and I should be learning Spanish, being that I live in Texas. So
Yeah,
it's
it
time.
does
So,
make sense. Yeah.
yeah. So, okay, so when you met us, um, so that was okay. You felt like you kind of fit in pretty quickly, which is good.
Mhm.
That makes me feel better
Mhm.
too. Um, I don't know if that's one of your most impactful moments, but what would you say are your most, like the three most impactful moments of your year here and why,
Mhm.
if you could tell us?
Um, of course, from the obvious, like meeting the family, and also at the end, having to leave the family that you lived with for a year.
Yeah.
Those are really impactful. But aside from that, I chose my three memories that I wanted to share. Were one, our vacation on Christmas, um, where we took a trip to San Antonio with a big RV, where
Yes.
we also had another exchange student with us.
Right. We
So
had,
we were what, 9 people? Yeah,
yes, we were,
9 people
mm-hmm,
living in a
an RV.
huge RV,
Yes.
and that was one of the big things that I remember, and I think I will remember forever, I guess, because we had so much quality time that we got to spend with each other
Yes.
and made a lot of memories together.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was really, really cool, and it was also interesting living on such a small space in such a small
Yes.
space with such so many people.
Yes. Yeah.
But
No, it was, what was her name? Why did I've just
just end up,
Jacinta, yes.
yeah,
Yes. And so she was from a completely different culture as well.
right,
That was, yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it? It was fun. I mean, I loved
yeah,
it. I loved that
yeah.
trip. I don't remember why. I think it was because it was so hot. Like I didn't go on one of the trips out to some of the missions. We went and visited missions.
Mhm.
We went on we went and saw different missions. And for
Right,
Christmas, we went to a Catholic church down there,
right.
for midnight mass, and it was like packed, and it
It
was
was,
it was awesome. I was like, this is so cool. Yeah,
yeah. And it
yeah,
was interesting because even that was different from Catholic Church here in Germany.
right,
I
right.
mean, the rituals themselves were the same. I mean, it's basically the same, but it was interesting. Just
Yeah, yeah, and we're not Catholic either. You
right.
are. We aren't. I love, right. Yeah, I mean, we're like Catholic light, but I
Yeah,
mean, but yeah, I mean, it, it was so beautiful. But that definitely, the thing about San Antonio is it was more of the Mexican
right,
influence in the service, right? That
right.
Spanish, and it was, yeah, it was pretty. It's really
But it
cool.
was really interesting, and again, it was being in such a small space. I think we connected even more than before,
Oh, I
and
agree.
I thought
I agree.
that was great. That was great.
Yeah. Yes. Well, good. Yeah, that was a fun trip for sure.
Then my second memory, I'm gonna keep the next two short, I guess.
Oh, go ahead.
My next two, the one was the trip to New York that I took with
Yes.
Sylvia
Yes.
and Bello
Fellow trip.
USA
Yeah.
trip,
Mhm.
right? Which was also through YFU,
Yeah.
so that the possibility to take trips,
Yeah.
organize trips. Together with the siblings, the host siblings, and I also thought that was one of the most impactful memories that I made. Being in New York, being such a huge city, but also being able to have someone with me who got to experience the city with me, and that I could talk about it even after, and yeah, just remember that I was not there by myself, and yeah, I
You got
thought
to
that
go
was
with
pretty cool.
all those other exchange students who were kind of going through the same things you were,
Right,
too.
but it was
So,
interesting that there were also other exchange host siblings,
oh,
not many,
okay.
but some,
Yeah.
and it was interesting to see the dynamics of the other, like, sibling constellations.
Really, really.
Yeah,
Yeah. Constellations. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah. Well, how was that? That's a good point. How was that seeing that?
um, honestly, it was kind of relieving because sometimes, even especially now with social media, and people who are also in their exchange year at the same time with you,
Right.
you see a lot of things, and I mean, you see a lot of pictures of them having their best time with their siblings or their families, and but when you see it in person, I guess yeah,
You see
pictures
more,
just
yeah,
yeah, you see more of the interactions and the real connections, and so you see that or you learn that you shouldn't compare your host family and your relationship to your host family to other people's relationships because they're different people. You're different. The exchange students are different people, and the families are also different people. So what I'm trying to say is that I think that every host family exchange student relationship is valid, and that yeah
yeah,
there's no wrong relationship or like ways of interacting with each other.
right, right.
Yeah,
That's a very good point, and I think that's good for other people to know because,
right.
especially again going back to those expectations,
Mm,
um, every family is different. Every exchange
mm,
student is different and comes from a family that might be the same or different, and or similar or different.
mm.
And there's no right or wrong. It's really all about just making those connections.
Right,
And
and finding your way of living with each other and
yes,
spending time with each other.
right, right. Yes, for sure. Okay, so what was your third favorite?
The third was the day we took a trip to Fort Worth and went to the
Oh,
rodeo.
the rodeo. Yes,
That was
yes,
just really fun because that's one of the things you think of when you
Texas.
hear Texas. You think,
Yes,
rodeo, okay.
yes,
And I thought it was really cool actually seeing one and yeah, just experiencing the typical Texas, I guess.
right.
So the things that you think are Texas and that are Texas, but they're not everyday Texas.
Everyday Texas. Right,
Yeah,
right. Yeah, it's part of like the Texas culture. Right.
right.
Yeah,
It's like when you come to Germany, Oktoberfest is not every day and also not everywhere,
right.
but when you get to experience it, it's
It's very
what you
German.
expect,
Yes,
I guess.
yes.
Yeah.
What we
But
think of,
there are also so many other parts of the culture that are really interesting that also make up the culture.
right, right, for
Yeah,
sure. Awesome. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I
yeah,
yeah, yes. It's definitely a very Texas thing. It's yes, and I think that if you have exchange students, um, I think that's probably one of and you're in Texas. Like if you can go
mhm,
to a rodeo and do something like that, that really is kind of like the depth of like of the history, because there's such a history of cowboys, and
right,
from all, from the Southwest and down into Mexico and you know that it really does it impacted our agriculture and how this state grew,
right,
it was a
right.
big part of it. So yeah, I mean, I know it's like, yeah, you're like whatever, but I mean, like for me, like I think it's really important to really kind of get that part of Texas too, because it also does answer the question of like, what's that really like?
Yeah, yeah,
Do they really wear cowboy hats?
yeah.
And did you see
Some
people
of them
wearing,
do.
right? Well, but people wear cowboy hats here
Right.
to school,
Yeah,
and like people don't think about it, like they don't look twice at that here. Whereas if you lived
yeah,
somewhere else, it'd be like, that's interesting.
yeah. It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if there's one thing I can recommend for people in Texas or exchange students in Texas, I guess I don't know if it makes sense, the recommendation, but I guess I would recommend getting yourself a hat and boots, even if you
Yes.
don't wear them
You did that.
anymore in your whole life. Yeah, I did.
Yes.
But it's nice having those memories,
Yes.
of memorabilia, being able to say, yeah, of course, I was in Texas and I got a hat and I
Right.
got boots.
Right. Of
Yeah,
course. Of course. For sure.
yeah,
Like if we go to Holland, we want to get wooden shoes.
right. And
Yeah.
cheese.
And cheese. Yes, for sure.
You shouldn't keep that as long as the boots.
No. I mean, no.
Nah, no,
No.
not that
Yeah.
long.
Okay, so my next question is like, do you have one to two things that weren't good or that you had to overcome during your time here?
Mhm. Yeah, so one of the things that I already like spoke about before, but one of the things is that it was difficult, or like you have to overcome, or I had to overcome comparing myself to other exchange students. As I said,
Hmm.
like they're in other states, they're in other cities, they have other families, they're other people themselves, and the memories you make are different, and that's normal. And it's good because the memories you make are your memories, and they are what you make of them, or they are what you make of your exchange year. And I think that's really important to understand that not every exchange year is the same, and
Right,
that's good.
right.
Um,
Because YFU does the like the three like checkpoints, right?
right,
And so you meet other students at that time kind of in your area,
right.
right? Um, so I would think that that's a time that you would kind of start to go, okay, well, that's when you really start comparing because you
Mhm,
have these conversations,
mhm.
with these other students, right?
Right. But one of the things that you have to remember, or that you, if you go into deeper conversations, if you know the people better or whatever, um, is that you see that they don't only have their own good moments, they also have their own problems. And
Yeah.
they are also different from the ones that you have. And let's be honest, nobody has no problems. I
D-
guess you can say that.
right, right, yeah.
And everyone has their problems. And so it's also the same for exchange students. Every exchange student has their own problems, uh, be it with their family or in school or I don't know, friends. So yeah, if you're comparing, and I think that's normal, keep in mind that you also compare that everyone has, or see that everyone has their own problems, and that not even if they like seem like it on the outside, n- nobody has just perfect days in their exchange year.
Right.
I mean, you have bad days, you have days where you're homesick, where you miss whoever or whatever from your home country.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think that's normal.
Yeah, yeah.
And one other thing is kind of along the same lines, but it's comparing my time in, or your time in the exchange year, to the time that your friends at home or family at home have. Um,
Mhm.
when I was in the US, my friends or my classmates from school, they finished 10th grade, which is like one of the first steps here in Germany for graduating.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it's connected to like celebrations and parties, and you miss those. And sometimes I was like, well, why am I doing this to myself? I could
Right.
be at home, like partying. I mean, many people in Germany, I mean, turn 16 when they're in 10th grade. When I was in the US, and that's the age you
Can drink.
can legally start to like drink alcohol here in Germany.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, you kind of have the feeling that you are missing something,
Hmm.
and maybe you are, but you also have to realize that you make so many memories that nobody else gets to make, or not many people get to make, that are partying at home.
Hmm.
So you have um, it helped me to see the positive in that I got to experience so many things that nobody else in my
Right.
like surroundings did.
Right. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And um, you know, I think that's kind of I like that, even though those were hard things that you dealt with, you still found a positive out of those. I
Right,
think that that's also really important. And that's just part of your personality, yes. But like,
right.
if you could tell other exchange students, like, hey, it's not going to be perfect every day. You're going to miss your friends. You're going to realize you're missing out on things at home, but then
Hmm.
you're also going to realize that, you know, you're trying to and you consciously or subconsciously you're comparing yourself to other students here at the time, other
Hmm.
exchange students. you know Either way, there's good that's going to come out of that, because you're coming out
Right.
of it with an experience that not everyone gets to have. It gives you a deeper connection to things and your
Mm-hmm.
school year. I think in general, I don't think that you know students necessarily kind of just go through the motions.
Hmm.
Do you know what that means? Like going through the motions. It's a saying so that we have.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can feel it. I think.
yeah. So like we just, they just kind of go through it, and by the end, they're just kind of
Mm,
like, okay, I graduated. But like
mm,
when you take the time and you focus on something like what you did, um, even with all of that going on, you,
mm.
you've come out of it with such a good experience and something
Right.
that's very, very personal, for yourself, and looks really good on resumes, I'm sure,
It
too.
does, and it also helps later on in life. I
Yes.
mean, after I finished school, I moved to Berlin, and Berlin is like 10 hours away, or 8 to 10 hours away. Depends on the German trains. Um, so it's far away from where my parents lived or and where I grew up,
Mhm.
and but it was the only place where I could do what I did now, working at the fire department the way that I do. I studied with the fire department um, at the same time as I got my training as a firefighter,
Right.
and yeah, it really helped me because, as I said, it was the only place where I could do that. It it wasn't really a question if can I move that far away from home? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew that I can live on another continent, in another time zone, far away from home with no possibility to get home. So because I knew I could do that, I knew it wasn't a problem moving to Berlin,
Right.
far away from home.
Far away, right.
Um,
Relatively. Yeah, it's not
yeah,
as
yeah,
far. Right. Right. That's a good point too, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, it gives you it definitely widens your view and makes you
right,
realize that the distance at home is much smaller. You know,
right, and it puts things
sure.
in perspective.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Thank you for listening to Exchanges with Rachel. Join us next week for part 3 of Johannes' story.